GetSetUp has one of its mission is to encourage and expose economic opportunities to our community. And as part of that, we have over the last 3 or 4 months been bringing on different employers who have age-friendly hiring practices and are looking for people and have jobs that they need to fill, and to expose our community to the type of opportunities that are available in the workplace today. So it's your opportunity to learn about the company, to learn about the types of jobs that are available and the types of skills that might be required for positions, and just become familiar with the opportunities that are existing today. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Alex and to Ellen and let them share some details about national corporate housing.
Okay, thank you for that. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me go ahead and put on my slideshow. Great. Okay, I want to introduce myself. First of all, I'm Ellen Bennett, and I am the Talent Acquisition Manager with National Corporate Housing. I remember the company, actually, I just celebrated my 10th anniversary. So I've been with the company 10 years and I have loved every minute of it. Alex White is, I think he just is coming up on his 1-year anniversary.
I am, yep, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So he handles a lot of the university recruiting and also a lot of our local recruiting for a lot of our local markets as well. And so I'm going to just go down and just skip this page. I'm going to talk a little about national, our history, and a little bit about who we are. I'm going to skip through some of these slides. This first one talks a little bit about our history. We are a hospitality company. I like to explain that in terms of what we do, we kind of pick up where extended stay hotels leave off. So if you've never used corporate housing or don't know what it is, we sell serviced furnished apartments to companies who are moving or transferring their employees for extended periods of time where they have to work away from their normal home and they don't want to live in a hotel for that time. So that's in essence what we do. So for example, we supply corporate housing to pretty much all verticals too. So Major League Sports during spring training, movie crews on location, construction crews on location, restaurants, retail chains, big companies who are maybe revising or rebuilding storefronts or restaurants, for example, that need teams of people there for a period of 90 days or so or longer, and they just don't want to live in. If you've ever stayed in a hotel for more than a week, it gets really cramped. There's no living space, there are no amenities, and so that's kind of our market. So we are headquartered in Denver, Colorado. The company was established in 1999, and we are the largest provider of corporate housing in the United States. We're probably in the top 5 globally. So we are headquartered in Denver. We have offices in about 27 or 26 markets in the United States, most of those big cities, supporting the whole metropolitan area or the state. So we're in markets from Seattle to San Diego, South Florida to Boston, and pretty much all the major states in between. So we're really known for our customer service. More than half of our markets have a customer service score of over 95%. So that's obviously really important to us. And outside of corporate housing, we have other types of services. We have a travel department. We have a destination services department, which, for example, when you have an expat moving from one country to another, or somebody moving from one city or state to another, that service helps people learn where they want to live, kind of settle in, where to go get a driver's license, that type of thing. And we also have a rental solutions department that for those people who are moving and they don't want to buy a house, they just want to find where to rent and they need help finding a place to rent for their time that they're there. We have recruiting companies as well. So we're more than just corporate housing. We're probably the most diverse of our competitors in that corporate housing space. So that in a nutshell just explains what we do. Okay. Now I'm going to talk a little about kind of what the value, why would you want to work for National? And number one, we have an incredible culture. We participate in the Great Place to Work survey every year. We ask, gosh, probably 100 questions to all of our employees every year. And we follow up with weekly surveys, that cover everything from our leadership, our employee engagement, our benefits, and just to make sure that we are really giving our employees the things that they need. We're really focused on learning and development, growth and advancement, and work-life balance is really important to us. We have, COVID's changed a lot, obviously, but we had a pretty hybrid, flexible work environment even before that, because a lot of at the local level, we have people that are out and about. Like most of our roles are not 100% in the office or at a desk necessarily, because we have, on the corporate housing side, we have units that are peppered all throughout a whole city or multiple cities. So obviously, we're flexible with how we develop work and assign work and get work done. We work a lot through teams, and we have really great advancement opportunities. We've got people that will start in one city and decide they want to move to another city. And if we can accommodate them, we do. If it's not really necessarily job related that created that need. And we have some really great learning and development programs and training programs for, I'm going to go through a couple of those here. I'm going to switch around here just a little bit. Just talking about some of our opportunities. We have a leadership development program that teaches employees, how to learn all aspects of a market, from operations, customer service, warehouse management, and even leadership. And so we have sometimes someone that might start in one role and then move throughout every single role within an organization. They might move from market to kind of learn the different nuances of different markets. Some might gravitate into inside sales, into outside sales. Some might just really stay on the service side. So, we create a lot of structure around our learning. The first 90 days of your employment, we bring all of our new employees to Denver for culture training and product and services training. So it gives you a really good opportunity to kind of meet people that are your peers in other markets, meet other managers in other markets, meet our corporate executive team, meet a lot of our corporate managers, and really get a, really good just connection, within other people within the organization, and learn a lot about, our culture there, and a lot about how we, why service is important to us, and just kind of what kinds of value we deliver to our customers. So that's probably one of the highlights that our employees love about National, in terms of just getting them to understand the why behind, what we do and why we feel it's important and why our customers value it. So have any of you, I don't know if it's a good example. How many people do we have on the call right now, roughly? Do you know? I kind of want to put a little poll out there. Judy, I don't know if that's.
Yeah, if you look at the participants in the Zoom session, we have 12, and then we have people that are in our lobby. So
I'm just wondering what cities that everybody is from, and what opportunities people are looking for. If anyone can put in the, let me see if I can add. I don't think I can really, can I see the chat?
Yeah, you should be able to see the chat.
Yeah. Santa Clara. So we have 2 offices in California, actually 3. We have an office in San Diego, one in Northern California, and one in the Orange County and kind of LA area. We also have an office in South Florida that covers the whole state of Florida. So And then New York, we've got a big office in New York. We cover the whole state from New York City, and do a lot of work in the New York City area as well. So it looks like some of the locations, pretty much every location that someone is from, we have definitely business in those states. We have, I'm still looking at the chat here. Someone saw from the chat that we have openings in Santa Clara. I'm trying to think, is that, Alex, is that Southern California?
It's Northern, I believe, right? So our office there is based out of Newark, but they operate in that entire Bay Area.
Yeah, we have a warehouse in Newark, and we also have, we've done a, we're primarily, our offices are on East Bay, but those out the warehouses in Newark, and we also have a lot of travel back and forth from Southern San Francisco all the way up through downtown San Francisco, and then through the, the Pleasanton kind of Walnut Creek area. Clear up really through Sacramento. We do some work up in Sacramento as well. So we have, we do have some positions listed. If you go to our website, it's nationalcorporatehousing.com/careers. So you can go to that website, you can click by area, you can click by position, you can look at all of our listings. But we do have openings right now in California for everything from apartment setup coordinators to positions in our warehouse and guest experience, as well as, oh, thanks, Alex. Alex is putting that link in the chat. And we look for inside salespeople as well, account managers, outside salespeople, and like I said, our leadership development program, which is basically learning all aspects of a role to become ideally general manager. For that type of position, we do like for people to be open to relocation. If you're open to relocation, obviously you can learn faster, and we kind of put trainees in markets that are really well run, where they can learn really well. But like I said, for the local markets, we look for a lot of people in the just to kind of be on the ground. Relocation consultants. Someone's asking a question about relocation consultants. If you've got a real estate background, we have a destination services division. That was one of the divisions I talked about with the settling in services, kind of teaching people people who are relocating to an area, what area they might want to be in, where it's basically how to acclimate to an area. And we partner in the real estate community in that area, and we hire relocation consultants where they actually meet with incoming expats or incoming employees and help basically introduce an area to them. So those positions are typically 1099 positions, where you are not a full-time employee of National Corporate Housing. You're kind of working by project. So as we have moves to an area, that is, we connect them with relocation consultants. So just to be clear about that. Now, apartment setup coordinators, if you go to our website, apartment setup coordinators, guest experience coordinators, those roles are full-time, or sometimes they're specified as part-time. If you're looking for something just part-time, we're very flexible with hours and schedules. We have some apartment setup coordinators. What they do is they go in right before a guest moves in. They go in and make sure that that apartment is hotel ready. So if you walk into a hotel room, you open the door, you walk in, and everything's beautiful and clean and furnished clear down to the linens and the soap and the coffee. And that's kind of how our apartments look. So what we do is we have warehouses that basically have all the supplies to get an apartment ready for someone to move in. It's not like the hotel sector either, because in the hotel sector, we have people that are moving in and out daily. The average hotel stay is typically just a couple of days. Our average stay is about 45 days. So the process of getting an apartment ready for a move-in is not a hourly thing, a daily thing. It's, we pretty much know our schedule a week in advance or a couple of weeks in advance. So an apartment setup coordinator is going to they might spend a day in San Jose, for example. They might spend a day in downtown San Francisco and maybe a day in maybe in Newark through the Pleasanton area. So they kind of know where they're going to go, and they just basically go in and make sure that the apartment is clean and organized and staged the way it needs to be, so that when that guest moves in, and again, the guest is the companies we work with, their employees, where it's basically a home away from home. So the warehouse, what they do is once a guest moves out and another guest is ready to move in, we basically tear the apartment down, take all the housewares, all the linens, all the dishes, and we process them at our warehouse and then take them back and set everything up. So that's what the apartment said. If they kind of quarterback all of that. And so it's kind of exciting because you're not just sitting at a desk. You're not doing the same thing every day. You're not in the same place every single day. Every day is kind of different. Every day is kind of, starting over in a different area. It's just like for those that don't want to sit in the same spot all the time, that's kind of part of the appeal of that kind of role. The guest experience coordinators, what they do is they kind of dot all the I's and cross all the T's in terms of communication to the guests. They talk to the cable companies, to the gas companies, to the internet. They basically make sure everything's working in the apartment so that everything's fresh and new and ready when the guest moves in. And then the account managers, they are the ones that basically match apartments to the employees or the guests that our customers are looking for. For example, Netflix is a customer of ours. Everyone's heard of Netflix. So when Netflix has a movie crew that's going to go, let's say, moving to Atlanta, Georgia for 90 days, then our account managers are the ones that find those apartments. Where do they want to be? What zip code? What location? And what type of housing is available during that time that we can connect them with. And once we arrange for the housing, then the guest experience coordinator is the person that steps in, makes sure all of the internet's working, everything's happening when it needs to happen before that guest moves in. The apartment setup coordinator is one that goes to visually look at it one last time to make sure everything looks the way it should, that everything's staged the way it should, and that type of thing. So we definitely use a team effort to try and, get everything ready. So I'm kind of looking at, let's see, guest stay coordinator, would that be me in Newark? Yes. And Alex, pop in here. Alex has actually been to Newark and actually done some recruiting in the Northern California area. So, this is Donna, right? Donna's asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have an opening right now in Northern California, don't we, Alex?
Yep, I think they just opened it. Yep. So I actually don't know because I was looking on the website and I don't know if that one's even on there yet. It's very new. So that one definitely is open, and it's a big market too. So.
And we are definitely looking for somebody there. So, and I think, I'm not sure who that position is assigned to. I think that would be either Alex or someone else on our team. But just, just feel free to kind of look through the site. But yes, 10 minutes from Newark. But hopefully that gives you a really good feel for, kind of some of our roles and kind of how things work. Again, we have a real, we're very flexible, and we're very, the unique part about what we do is there's not a lot of, we have very routine processes, and we're very deliberate about how we provide service and the quality of the service that we provide, but we're also very flexible with our teams. And we have some guest experience coordinators and apartment setup coordinators that work weekends. They just want extra income on the weekends, and they'd rather work weekends than through the week. We have some that don't want to work weekends at all. And most of the nature of our business is typically, because we are a corporate housing company, we really operate in that B2B space. And so we don't we don't really work a lot of weekends. We do have because we can schedule a lot of the work to be done through the week. We do have a 24-hour customer service center, though, a call center, so that if somebody gets, let's for example, locked out of their apartment accidentally, or they have, let's say their air conditioner breaks in the summer, their heat breaks in the winter, they would call one number. And that gets, they basically, that's kind of our first point of contact, where if something happens, that department can kind of execute a maintenance call, for example, or take care of whatever is needed. So that group is virtual, and a lot of them are that center is housed out of Phoenix, Arizona. But that's the beauty of our business, is we are, again, a lot of the work can be scheduled. So if somebody has a lot of, let's say some people want to work more afternoons and some more mornings, and some, as long as you're flexible. Sometimes we might have, our big season is things really pick up a lot in the spring, because a lot of people like to move when school is out. A lot of activity happens when the weather is nicer. For example, in Chicago, not a lot of people want to move to Chicago in the middle of January, because you never know what you're going to get. Some markets are a little bit opposite, like California is a little bit, pretty much it's always busy all the time, because the weather doesn't change a whole lot from month to month. So
Ellen, can you talk a little bit about the application process and some of the skills that are required for the different positions that you talked about?
Yeah, the application process is, what you want to do is apply through our website, and Alex supplied that link. We try to make it pretty simple from the beginning. You just go to the careers website, click on a position that you're interested in, and you can upload a resume or a LinkedIn profile. You can just, I think we ask for very basic information, and then we do. Depends on the role, but we always ask candidates to complete a survey. It's called Predictive Index. It kind of tells us how you like to work, what your natural strengths are, what behaviors come easier, and kind of how you like to interact. And so that's the first thing we do. We have you fill out an online application, at some point after that. And then your first step would be to talk to somebody in recruiting. And then a second step would be to talk to that actual hiring manager. And then it depends on the position, for apartment setup coordinators and for guest service coordinators and warehouse. I think that's pretty close to the process. It's a pretty quick process, but you would definitely, spend some time with the person you'd be working directly for. And then for sales roles or managerial roles, it's a little bit more involved. You'd probably talk to a couple of different managers, and maybe talk to a couple of the people that would be on that team. So that process is a little bit longer. But by the time we make offers, you have a really good feel for who you'd be working for, what the market is like, what's critical, what your schedule would look like, and what's unique about that location. Does that help, Judy?
Yeah, it does. But one of the other questions that, as you're speaking there, came to my mind was for the jobs like the apartment setup or the relocation consultants, or I assume you have to have a car and a vehicle so that
it depends. Yeah, if for apartment setup, we put in the job descriptions that there's a job description that's pretty detailed in every for every position. It will say if you need to be able to get around the city. We have, in some of our bigger markets, we have company cars because obviously they're more like minivans or large vehicles, because you want to, sometimes we have to have supplies. So we get to an apartment and let's say, there's some smudges on the wall or a mirror, you bring in a little cleaning supply, and you might do a little bit of, touch up type stuff, or, that type of thing. So, we're pretty, it just varies from market to market. Some cities you rely on public transportation. like the DC area or New York, we've got people that take the subway system to get from area to area because it's easier than fighting the traffic. So for our smaller markets, I think California, we do have some company vehicles. And we do like for our apartment setup coordinators to use them because it's, they basically start at the warehouse, collect whatever they need for the day, and then they're off. And then at the end of the day, they drop off a vehicle, or sometimes they go home and then they go right to the next spot the next day, depending on, again, where they're going and what they're doing. So we would cover that, per position.
And for like the destination setup people, if they're going to the warehouse, are they physically, do you have to have physical capabilities to lift a certain
The
amount?
apartment setup coordinators, that is a little bit more of a, there's probably more physical requirements in that role, and maybe the warehouse, because you are, moving things sometimes. The apartment setup coordinators are carrying boxes of linens in, or boxes of dishes, for example, because you're actually setting up the kitchen. The guest experience coordinators, they're more on the phone, in the office. They're working from a computer. They're, calling, the service companies to kind of establish services, disconnect services. They're emailing guests to let them know exactly where to find keys, for example. So they're kind of doing those kinds of things. So the most physical positions are probably the warehouse and the apartment setup coordinators. Okay. And then it can be, yeah, go ahead.
So like the guest setup ones, when you're on the phone setting up the cable company or whatever, those are positions that are located in your offices, or are they work from home positions?
Well, they're usually hybrid. We like to collaborate in the office. So there would be, some of our offices don't even have offices. So it just depends on the market. And Alex, we've got the warehouse, right? In Northern California, for example.
Yeah. And they, the general manager comes in weekly. It definitely is the hybrid situation there. And then I know we were talking about vehicles. They have like 4 vehicles at that office too.
Okay.
So
yeah. Right.
But there's also markets that, just use third-party vendors for the furniture as well, and don't necessarily, need that full heavy lifting as well. So
right. And there isn't that much really lifting of furniture. True. Like for the most part, it's like you're lifting, you're putting dishes in the cabinet. If you're actually doing the physical setup, you're making beds, you're, hanging towels, that type of thing. And we still rely on vendors to do that in a lot of markets as well. So you might be just going in and inspecting to make sure that, everything is as it should be. And you might be doing a little rearranging. You might, put out, move a plant, or maybe shift a table because it looks better in this area, for example, and just make sure everything's clean. So again, it varies. But, in some markets, there can be some, repetitive kind of lifting, and it can be backbreaking, honestly, in some markets, and not to, don't want to minimize that.
Okay.
And I think, I get go ahead.
No, I was just going to finish your thought, and then I was going to open it up. And if anybody else had any other questions, I know we're getting kind of at the end of our time. Are there any other questions?
I think what's unique about us is our teams, even though there's, our markets are very spread out, we operate leaner at the markets, and we really depend on each other and really collaborate well. And, there's I met with our Boston team this morning. We talked about all the different roles and why each role is so important and what the strengths are of each role. And so, it's for being headquartered in Denver and being so spread out, we really have a great group of people, and everybody likes who they work with. And that's really important to us. So, work-life balance and, liking and enjoying the people we work with is really important. And we try to have a lot of fun. Obviously we're the best for a reason, But we're in the people business. So service is our mantra. And, we attract people that really like to, work with others and collaborate through others. Question is, what other virtual positions we have in front? Are you talking, I'm assuming you mean 100% virtual? Alex, yes. I'm trying to think what positions we have that are 100% virtual right now. I know our after hours call center is usually 100% virtual. We don't have a lot of 100% virtual right now. It just depends on the time of year, but and the type of role. But I can't think of any, our hybrid roles, you might go into the office 3 days a week and be remote the other 2. And again, as the apartment set up positions, they're all over, so that's, yeah, right now, I don't think we have a lot of 100% virtual roles.
So it sounds like the best thing to do is, if somebody's interested, just keep checking your website to see if.
Yeah, and you can set up, I think you can actually, on our website, set a reminder whenever there's an opening, a notification where you'll get a notification on anything that's available. And I think you can filter by state too. I'm not sure about that, but definitely just go to our website and set those reminders. We get, like, January is our slowest month right now. So obviously right now, you're not going to see probably a lot of activity. We do have several openings. Like I said, some in California. We've got openings right now for apartment setup and guest experience in New York, Southern California, Northern California, Washington, D.C., and some other markets as well. Mm-hmm. But just, keep an eye out, and we just love to stay in touch.
And I have one last question. And when somebody's hired for one of those positions, like a destination setup person, is it a temporary assignment, or are you brought on?
No, they're the destination services, the relocation consultant, that's a 1099 position. So that is, we'll send you work when we have it. And it's just a flat fee based on how many tours you do and the work you're doing with the people who are relocating. All of the rest of the positions are, full-time or part-time, but they are, employees of National Corporate Housing.
Great. Well, it sounds like you've got some exciting opportunities out there, and one to launch.
One of the questions is, multiple roles, do we have to apply for all? Not necessarily. What you'd want to do is apply for the role. If it helps if you apply for multiple roles, just because we know which positions you're specifically interested in. But you can, and we can tell that, when you apply for a position, we can see if you've applied for other positions as well. So it's not like we've got to check a bunch of different places, but pick the roles that you feel you're most qualified for, or in a location that you're most interested in, and we can start from there. That answer. And what areas in New York? Our biggest opportunities right now in New York are Manhattan, through the Connecticut area. But, we cover the whole state. We cover parts of New Jersey as well, but honestly, the concentration is Manhattan through New Jersey. I want to also add one of our best benefits. We're very competitive on the benefits side. One of our unique benefits is we offer free corporate housing stays to people who are traveling. So if you're traveling, let's say to Southern California, or you're from New York, for example, or vice versa, and there's a corporate apartment available, you can stay in it for free, and all you pay is the cleaning. And so I know Alex has stayed. Didn't you just come from Chicago, Alex, and stay in one of our corporate apartments? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you've stayed in corporate apartments in Northern California?
Mm-hmm. Northern California, and I think DC, and they're all awesome.
Beautiful. So. Yeah. They're just Class A. We work primarily in that Class A apartment space. And so our apartments are nice. It's just a really nice, unique benefit that most people don't offer. And so we love that.
That's a really fun one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you have any
All right.
questions, just reach out to us. You can send an email to careers@nationalcorporatehousing.com. Alex and I are both on that email, as well as our other recruiters. So if you have any general questions, or you don't see a position you saw earlier on the website, you've got a question about anything on the website, feel free to reach out and we will follow up with you.
That's great. Well, thank you, Ellen and Alex, for being with us today and sharing all that
Yeah.
information about national corporate housing. I think it was fascinating for me to learn about the industry. It's not one that I'm that familiar with, and I suspect a lot of others are too. So that's great.
Okay.
So thank you
And
so much.
I hope I answered all the questions. I think I did.
I think you did.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thanks everyone for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Take
Talk to you
care.
later.